You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
It's a celebration of the monarch's 70 years on the throne. 56 years ago, Queen Elizabeth II made her first official visit to the Bahamas. And today, her grandson, William, who is second in line to the throne, and his wife, Catherine, will visit our ethereal islands on her behalf. The last leg of a Caribbean tour to mark the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. William and Kate, welcome to the Bahamas. Good afternoon and welcome to our live coverage of the royal visit of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. The royals will start their three-day trip here in about a half an hour as part of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. They will visit New Providence, Abaco, and Grand Bahama. It is the last leg of a three-country tour which started in Belize and then went on to Jamaica. Now again, this is part of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. She is the longest reigning British monarch in history. And here's a bit of history. On February 6, 1952, Princess Elizabeth acceded to the throne after her father, King George VI, died. She was on tour in Kenya and instantly became Queen Elizabeth II. And this year marks the 70th anniversary of Accession Day. Well, following the news of her father's death, the tour was abandoned and the young princess flew back to Britain as Queen. She was greeted by Prime Minister Winston Churchill and other officials at the airport before returning to Clarence House. She was officially crowned in a coronation ceremony at Westminster Abbey the following year on the 2nd of June, 1953. Now, Elizabeth II is the Queen of the Bahamas, and as Queen of the Bahamas, Her Majesty plays an important ceremonial and symbolic role in the country, although she is not involved in the day-to-day business of the Bahamas government. Daily, the Queen is represented here by the Governor General, with whom she stays in close contact with via her private secretaries. The Queen's royal style and title in the Bahamas is Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and of her other realms and territories. Queen, head of the Commonwealth. Now, of course, many royals have visited the Bahamas. And let's take a look at some of the previous occasions on which they visited our beautiful country. The year was 1966. The date, February 27th. That marked the first time Queen Elizabeth II officially visited the Bahama Islands, as our country was then known. The two-day trip was part of a major Caribbean tour. She was accompanied by Prince Philip and met by then-Governor Sir Ralph Grey and Premier of the Bahama Islands Roland Simonet. While in Nassau, the Queen attended special events in Rawson Square and Clifford Park, visited the Princess Margaret Hospital and the Ranfurly Children's Home, and took a Surrey ride. 11 years earlier, in 1955, the Queen's sister, Princess Margaret, was the first royal to visit the Bahamas after the Queen ascended to the throne. The Bahamas General Hospital, which was built in 1952, was renamed the Princess Margaret Hospital during that visit. Fast forward to 1973, as the Bahamas gained its independence. The Queen's son and heir to the throne, Charles, the Prince of Wales, represented the monarch.
It only remains for me to wish the government and people of the Bahamas the very best of luck throughout the future.
In 1975, the Queen made a return visit to the Bahamas. Her third visit came in October of 1977 during her Silver Jubilee tour. That visit was highlighted by the opening of Elizabeth Estates and the opening of the Z&S television station.
To declare the building of the Broadcasting Corporation open.
Two years later, her daughter Anne, the Princess Royal, visited the Bahamas. That September 1979 visit was part of the Bahamas' commemorative celebrations of 250 years of parliamentary democracy. The Queen returned to the Bahamas in 1985 for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. That October meeting, hosted by Sir Lyndon Pindling, was historic and crucial. The Queen also paid tribute to the war dead. Queen Elizabeth II came to the Bahamas again in 1994, and that included a visit to Grand Bahama. In 2012, her grandson, Prince Harry, visited the Bahamas on behalf of the Queen during her Diamond Jubilee. He also viewed an exhibition in Rawson Square to mark the Jubilee. In 2015, Princess Anne visited the Bahamas. That visit was part of the Caribbean-Canada Emerging Leaders Dialogue, a leadership development and educational initiative which took place throughout the Caribbean. The Princess Royal also attended a reception at Government House and a Governor General Youth Awards presentation. And of course, we cannot forget the Duke of Windsor, who was crowned Edward VIII, but abdicated and served here as the 56th Royal Governor of the Bahamas from August 1940 until March of 1945. And now it's time to introduce our special guest. She is a British national who has spent many years here in the Bahamas. She's a public relations specialist. Serena Williams, welcome to our program.
Hello, Julian. How are you?
Oh, it's good. Good to see you and good to have you here.
Thank you.
You saw a little bit of our preview of what's happening with this royal visit of Catherine and William. What are your thoughts so far? Are you excited that they're coming?
I'm so excited. I'm surprised at just how excited I am. I'm absolutely thrilled about it. And even watching the little film just now, it was just lovely to see how many of the royal family have actually been here and enjoyed the hospitality of the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from in the UK, and eventually how you got to the Bahamas.
Yes, I was born in Plymouth, which is a seaside town in Devonshire. It's at the bottom of England, sort of opposite France, and but lived most of my life in London. And somebody offered me a job to come over to London. They said they were going to build a resort at in Nassau, and would I like to come over and do the marketing? So I thought, well, I'll go and see, I'll go and have a look. So I came over here. That actually didn't work out, but seeing as I'd rented out my flat in London, I thought, well, I'll just stay a while. And of course, here we are 30 years later. I'm still here and loving it. I love it. This is my home.
Mm-hmm. So what's it like being British, but also Bahamian in a way?
It's very special. I think that a lot of Bahamians enjoy having me in their group. They often sort of say, we like hearing you speak, Serena, and other people, obviously, you know, it's down to everybody. Everybody has a different experience. But I think overall, British people are welcomed here. I think they're treated well. And I think for the most part, it's a good experience. It's all about people and how you interact with them.
Oh, great, yes. And of course now we've got William and Kate coming. They've had a little whirlwind tour, a mini tour of the Caribbean, Belize first, and then Jamaica, and now they should be here within another half hour or so. First of all, when you think of William and Catherine, what comes to your mind?
That he made a good choice. I mean, I know they went to a university together, but I think overall, I think he made it. I think she's really taken to the role, and I think they make an excellent couple. And I think if he ever does become the King of England, they will do a very good job, not unlike the Queen and Prince Philip.
Well, true. And you think about longevity, right? Because I believe the Queen Mom died at 104 or something like that.
Yes.
And the Queen is only, what, 94 now?
Yes, 94.
Looks like she could be around for a little bit longer.
Very well. She's looking a bit frail, I thought. I think since Prince Philip, especially.
Yeah.
I think she's looking a little frail, but gosh, 94.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So if Charles gets it,
yeah.
And we understand that she said she would love for Camilla to be Queen Consort.
Yes, Queen Consort.
Which is a very important announcement and move, isn't it?
It is. It's a difficult situation. I think Diane was so popular, and I think it was a difficult position for Camilla to fill. Once Diana had died, and then it became apparent that he was going to marry his sweetheart, Camilla, because that's what she was.
Absolutely.
As Diana so strongly said, there were always three of us in this marriage. And a modern-day tragedy, of course, which happens to many of us. So, but I think Camilla's done well. She stepped up to the plate and carried on the service duties that she's supposed to do.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the tour, and we've heard some people talking about, you know, the need to become a republic, to move away from the monarchy, right? What are your thoughts about that?
I'm not too sure how a republic would work here, but, you know, I'm a strong believer in what's not broken, don't fix it, leave it alone. And I certainly think there's quite a lot of street cred attached to being a Commonwealth country and having the Queen as its head, especially she doesn't interfere with us at all. You know, she really doesn't. And I mean, if you look at Turks and Caicos, when they had a problem with their government, and I think the president, prime minister had to move sideways, they sent in a British team of people to get everything straight with the government, get everything right for the investors, and then the government took over, new government took over. And I think people, especially the people who had invested, foreign investors, were terrified for a while. They thought their money they were just going to lose all their money. But instead, of course, Britain came in and sorted out and put it straight. So I think certainly from an investor point of view, it definitely helps the Bahamas to be a Commonwealth country and have the Queen as our head of state.
Well, we're going to take a little break right now and come back, and then hopefully we'll be going to the airport. Stay with us. We are giving you live coverage of the royal visit of William and Kate.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Bahamas. Fly away.
RBC has been growing with the Bahamas for over 110 years. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future. With investments in youth, education, and environmental initiatives, we're dedicated to helping you and our communities grow.
We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC.
RBC Royal Bank.
Discover the possibilities.
Discover the possibilities.
Discover the possibilities.
I discovered the possibilities.
I discovered the possibilities.
Back to our live coverage of the royal visit of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. We're going to go to LPIA, Lyndon Pindling International Airport, where they are due to arrive very soon. We understand that they're actually on final approach right now. So you can see right now we have the Royal Bahamas Defense Force and the Royal Bahamas Police Force all ready for the arrival of the royals. And, of course, this is the third time they will have experienced this. Belize, Jamaica, and now in the Bahamas. They'll get a bit of Bahamian flair when they come.
They will, and I think they're going to love it. I think they've saved the best till last.
Well, obviously, you love the Bahamas very much. For 30 years you've been here. But what was it like when you first came? What was that? What did you know what to expect?
Well, I didn't, because, you know, it was really just an expedition for me to see if I was going to get to work here or not. So that really wasn't the case. But I happened to come at a very interesting time, because Lyndon Pindling was still in power, and it was a very interesting time. I remember thinking that there didn't seem to be many radio stations, and you couldn't ring in. There were no call-in shows, and so it seemed a little bit restrained.
That's true. All of that came afterwards in '92. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So it was very interesting, but I remember I joined a group, funny enough, Leslie Miller used to run on, before, on the golf course over on Paradise Island, and I met up with a group of people there. We always used to run in the morning, and one day I said, I think I'd like to get a job. And how do I go about that? And I remember Leslie Miller saying, you can't get a job. You're on a visitor's visa. You can't just go and get a job. And so I said, well, who's the most important person on the island? I said, besides the Prime Minister, Lyndon Pindling. And he said, go to resorts. George Myers is there, and see if he's got a job for you. And George Myers said, Sandra Eneas is here doing our public relations. You can't do that. But he said, go and see Vincent Vanderpool Wallace, 2 doors down. He's our marketing director. And then he sent me to see Joan Albury at the Councillors. And I started writing for them, and then the Ministry of Tourism got me a 3-year work permit, and I was a writer for the Bahamas News Bureau, which was marvelous, with Basil Smith. It was really great. And so I met all these interesting people, Charles Carter, Lyndon Pindling, of course, and it was just the most extraordinary experience for me.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, there's going to be quite a bit of... Oh, take a look. They're putting down the red carpet right now. If you take a look on your screen, and they're all in formation.
Yes, it's looking good.
Good. Well, our Keishla Adderley is at LPIA, and she is standing by. Let's go to Keishla Adderley right now. Keishla, what is the mood like there?
Julian, we are just minutes away now from this highly anticipated royal visit as the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, William and Kate, prepare to land here in Nassau. Now, this visit is part of the observance of Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee. Now, this visit will mark the first official visit to the Bahamas by William and Kate. It'll also be the first time that they're traveling outside the territory for an official visit since the COVID-19 pandemic pandemic. Now, not long from now, just behind me on the tarmac, I believe that is the British Airways or the United Kingdom, as it's labeled, plane touching down on the airport tarmac as we speak. It appears that the Duke and Duchess have arrived. That landing was scheduled for 4:30, according to the very meticulous schedule that the royals are guided by. Now, this is the first royal visit to the Bahamas since 2011. You may recall that Prince Harry, who is the Queen's grandson, and of course the brother of Prince William, made a visit here back in March of 2011. At that time, he was here to observe the Diamond Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. Now it's William and Kate's turn as they mark this Platinum Jubilee, which marks 70 years of service to the people and the people of the United Kingdom, the realms, and the Commonwealth. And of course, the Queen is the first British monarch to mark a platinum anniversary. Now, Bahamians would be familiar with Prince William and with Kate. They married back on April 29th of 2011. Prince William is second in line to the throne after his father, Prince Charles. Now, the atmosphere here at the Lyndon Pindling International Airport, as you can imagine, is just about as formal as it gets. The red carpet is rolled out. The honor guard is lined up on the tarmac, and things are being scrutinized here 10 times more than they would usually be because of this occasion. Of course, the Governor General, among the dignitaries expected to receive the royals once they land. They will also be received by Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, who, of course, will be part of the ceremonies here. Now, this is part of a 3-island tour. The royals will also visit the islands of Abaco and take a short flight to Grand Bahama for visits there. Now, as part of the themes of this visit, the youth of the country, and toward that end, the royals will participate in a special assembly at the Sybil Strand Primary School, formerly the Carmichael Primary School. They will also visit the Grand Bahama Children's Home when they visit that island. Now, tourist representatives would often tell visitors to the Bahamas it's better in the Bahamas. I recall that during Prince Harry's visit here, he made a comment that his brother, Prince William, and sister-in-law, Kate, would be envious of his trip to the Bahamas as he had such a good time here. Well, it's expected that by the time the royals leave the Bahamas, they'll have their own stories to tell. They won't have to envy Prince Harry anymore, as they would have had their very own Bahamas experience. Back to you, Julian.
A lot to talk about. By the time they finish with that Junkanoo experience, also sailing with some of our young sailors, and of course Coral Vita as well, which is actually one of the winning prizes of the Earthshot prize that he is the patron of, the sponsor of. So I think there's going to be an amazing amount of excitement for them over the next few days here.
I think it's a terrific itinerary. I don't know, it must have been so difficult putting that together. I mean, people sort of say, well, you know, maybe these should have gone to the National Art Gallery, but you know, you can't do everything, and we'll just have to invite them back.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, a lot actually put in a very, very sort of short time. Like really 2 days and a half, not really a full 3 days.
Yes. They've got a lot to do, a busy agenda.
Mm-hmm. Now, the plane has, of course, landed, and they are actually in an RAF Voyager, for those of you who might like aviation. It's a very special adaptation of an A330 Airbus, and they travel on it frequently.
Yeah, it sounds nice.
They travel on it frequently. And now if we take a look down there, we're seeing the lineup, the actual sort of dignitaries that have lined up to meet them. We have right there, well, I see Leslie Bryce, His Excellency Leslie Bryce, who is the Bahamas High Commissioner to CARICOM, but who also has been put in charge of the arrangements for this. I see the Attorney General, Leo Ryan Pinder, and many others. One thing to point out now, one of the cars that has been assigned to the royal couple is an electric car.
Oh, very modern.
Of course, and we know that after their wedding, They were in a sort of customized Aston Martin that Prince Charles had.
Yes.
But they actually had it electrified.
Yes, yes.
So they're setting a pace in a way.
They are. They certainly believe in renewable energy.
Absolutely. Very important these days and times, something that we all need to move towards.
Yes.
So they're already right there. As you can see, our lovely Defense Force officers looking very clean in their uniforms as they prepare to greet the Duke of Cambridge and the Duchess of Cambridge. So what are your thoughts and feeling right now as the plane pulls up?
I just think they looked out of their window and went, wow. I mean, when you see our Defence Force all lined up and the police band, there's nothing like it. They look so smart. They look glorious.
But I'll take you even a little bit before that. Once you enter the waters of the Bahamas, Bahamas Maritime Territory,
yes,
that's a breathtaking experience right there.
Yes, it is. It really is.
Of course, today, after they have gone through the little ceremony that's going to take place here at the airport, they will head to the office of the Prime Minister, where they will have a courtesy call with the Prime Minister, the Honourable Philip Davis. And we're not sure what is on the agenda there, but it'll be very interesting to hear what might come up. We know that in Jamaica, the Prince referred to slavery and said he had profound sorrow that slavery occurred and that it should never have happened and is forever a stain on our history, forever stains our histories. Now it'll be interesting what he might say here to our Prime Minister.
Yes.
But it's very interesting. We also heard that the Jamaican Prime Minister indicated that they will be moving towards a republic. So, new developments in 2022.
Indeed.
Yes. And here comes that Voyager, which apparently is quite lavish inside. We've seen some special pictures, and I believe that the press corps is actually traveling with them on that plane.
Really?
Now that must be a very special job to be a royal correspondent.
Wow. I should say. Are the police band going to play, do you think?
They should hear a little something, I believe, from them upon arrival.
It's quite a to-do, really, all that planning and...
Well, actually, yes, it has been quite a very busy sort of period to actually put all of this together.
I think it's good for us. I know some people poo-poo it, but I think, why not?
Don't forget, you know, Bahamians are used to doing this kind of
pomp and ceremony.
We've been doing it very well for several years.
Yes.
Even though, you know, we mentioned to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting that was in a piece that we had earlier, and I've heard people say that that was probably the best CHOGM in ages.
Really?
And even one of the most important ones, because that's where the sanctions against South Africa were developed.
That's right, that's
the Nassau Accord.
Yes.
So very important things happened during that meeting.
Yes.
And now, here comes the grandson of the Queen.
Yes, indeed.
Who himself could be king one day.
Indeed.
I'm sure that all of the people who are there right now to meet their Royal Highnesses are quite excited.
Yes. They'll be getting lots of pictures. We'll be seeing a lot of social media, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I remember one of the events I used to go to when I first came here was the garden party at the governor's mansion. They used to have wonderful... every other week, the Ministry of Tourism had a lovely tea party, and the Bahamian women would turn out with their hats, finery, lovely church dresses, and we'd all have this really nice tea. And I don't know whether they still do it, but it was very popular with tourists.
Have you ever had an experience with the royals? Any of them?
No, I remember when my father got a medal from the Queen, and I went there in my school uniform as a child to Buckingham Palace. That was really my only interaction.
There's some lovely shots here, as we can see.
Yes.
And I guess any minute now they will be disembarking that plane.
I wonder what she's wearing. Is it a long flight from Jamaica?
We understand that members of Queen's College are actually tuned in as a group watching this, so we wish them all the best. as they go back to school. Everyone's back to school now after 2 long years of COVID, huh?
Gosh.
So, of course, Queen's College, named after the Queen.
Indeed.
And here is our grandson getting ready to visit the Bahamas for the first time.
They're going to love it.
They will. And they get to go, when they go to Abaco, they get to actually go scuba diving.
Wow.
At Coral Vila. I noticed that they did that in Belize as well, which is the second largest barrier reef in the world. Of course, we have the 3rd largest barrier reef in the world in the Bahamas, but which is off Andros. But they will be going to Abaco, which, of course, was devastated by Hurricane Dorian.
Yeah.
But Coral Vila, is in Grand Bahama.
Yes.
And that's where they will experience that.
Yes.
And here we go. Any moment now, they will be coming out of that plane. It would be interesting to see what kind of excitement they have. They seem to have been enjoying their trip thoroughly.
And I think it's genuine, I mean,
believe it is.
they really seem to get a kick out of things and a thrill out of things. They're very appreciative. They're very thankful. And I think they're a nice couple myself. So there's a lovely flag going up.
That would be his standard that is flying now. The Duke and Duchess.
Is it?
Or this is the royal standard, isn't it?
I don't know.
I believe, yes.
It's sort of, is that all the way up, I wonder? Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, they're hoisting it right now.
Yes. So now when they go to meet the Prime Minister, is it going to be at his office or is it
It will be at the office of the Prime Minister.
Okay.
Of course, it's a closed meeting.
Yes.
There will be some opportunities for visuals.
Yes.
But we won't be allowed into the actual...
Who do you think would actually be there?
Well, I'm not certain. Of course, the Prime Minister will be there. I'm not certain.
Do you think he'd have his deputy, maybe?
Perhaps. I'm not sure at all.
It's all very nice, I must say. But what I want to see is them when they take part in the regatta.
I think they're going to enjoy that thoroughly.
Yeah, because they can both sail. They're both sailors, so this should be very interesting.
Well, he's an amazing man when you think of it. He's a helicopter pilot.
Yes.
Very well trained in military works. And they both are ardent sailors, avid sailors. Yes.
This is the beauty, of course, of having younger people come to visit. They're able to do all these things. They'll be able to take part in Junkanoo, go sailing, go scuba diving, and really enjoy all the things that the Bahamas has to offer. Mm-hmm. And that in itself is a great publicity opportunity for our tourism business.
Right. Well, let's go back to LPIA and Kishla Adderley right now as the Royals get ready to disembark their plane.
The dignitaries, Julian, have gotten in place now as this massive jet of the Royal Air Force Fleet touched down just a few minutes ago, carrying the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge as they kick off this visit to the Bahamas, marking the Platinum Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. On the tarmac now to receive the Duke and Duchess, the Governor General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, His Excellency the Most Honorable Cornelius Smith. He is accompanied by several members of the Cabinet, starting with the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, who is also the Minister of Tourism and Aviation. Also there to receive the Royals, the Attorney General of the Bahamas, the Honorable Ryan Pinder. The Secretary to CARICOM, Leslie Miller Price, also among the receiving party there. A special honor for little Nye Moss, She is the little person there standing at the bottom of those stairs waiting for William and Kate to descend from this flight. She will present the pair with a bouquet of flowers, one of their first gifts as they're received into the islands of the Bahamas. Now we can see the Bahamian flag being waved in the distance from this flight as the Duke and Duchess prepare to disembark. The honor guard, consisting of the Royal Bahamas Police Force and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, all awaiting the inspection of the guard. We can expect that fanfare from the Royal Bahamas Police Force band as soon as the two begin to emerge from this flight. Now, this is the first official visit to the Bahamas by the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. It is their first official visit outside of the territory, along with the stops in Belize and Jamaica for the royals since the COVID-19 pandemic. During their time here, there will be several stops and several notable events. We spoke earlier about their visits to the Children's Home in Grand Bahama, a special assembly for the children of the Bahamas at the Sybil Strawn Primary School, formerly Carmichael Primary. The two will also participate in a regatta. There are several young sailors in the Bahamas who will compete in a friendly, competitive sailing race on Montague. The Royals will also be a part of that. I understand from talking to persons in the lead up to this trip that Kate is in fact an avid sailor. It's a sport that she enjoys and excels at. That should be an exciting time for them. This flight touched down at about 4:30 this afternoon. We see the dignitaries and I believe members of the Rangers also lining the literal red carpet as the royals prepare to descend. We see someone from the airport who has oversight of the runway, one of the workers here climbing the stairs. So it should be just minutes now before the pair disembarks this flight. Now, wherever the royals go, the press follows. It is expected that some 90 members of the press will be a part of the coverage of this visit. I understand that about 40 of them are from the United Kingdom. Kate and William has had stops in Belize, and most lately they stopped in the island of Jamaica. Now they're expected to get a full Bahamas experience on Friday. Friday will probably be one of their busiest days. They will honor the healthcare workers who guided the Bahamas through the COVID-19 pandemic. That will be part of a ceremony to take place on Friday morning in the Garden of Remembrance in downtown Nassau. After that somewhat solemn event, they will cross over to Bay Street, Rosin Square, where the bands of the country will pull out all of the stops for a major cultural display. We believe that will also include Junkanoo. That will also provide an opportunity for members of the public to get an up-close look at the royals. And if you're lucky, they'll perhaps shake a few hands and say hello. There are literally hundreds of people on the tarmac now, all part of this a very special observance, a highly anticipated visit by the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. It turned out to be a very nice day here in the city of Nassau. A bright and sunny day. It's cooled down a little bit, fortunately for all of us here. So it should be a nice, breezy welcome for the royals once they disembark their flight in what we expect will just be a few short minutes. The British High Commissioner, Her Excellency Sarah Dixon, also among the receiving party here at the Lyndon Pinling International Airport. She is, of course, the representative of the government of the United Kingdom here in the Bahamas. I spoke with her earlier this week. We chatted about the visit. She expressed that she's pleased to be stationed in the Bahamas at a time like this, to be able to welcome the royals to the Bahamas as, of course, one of their countrymen. She also noted that the royals are particularly interested in the welfare of the youth of the country. We see some persons beginning to disembark at the rear of the plane. We can speculate that they may be members of staff, perhaps some members of the press as well, who were along for the Jamaica and Belize legs of this Platinum Jubilee tour of Queen Elizabeth II, as she is represented by the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, William and Kate. Now, later on today, the only other official stop for the royals, a visit to the office of the Prime Minister in Western New Providence. They will meet with Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Brave Davis, QC, at his office in Cable Beach. That will, of course, be a brief private meeting, a greeting of the Prime Minister as the Bahamas hosts the royals, William and Kate, who are making their first official visit to the Bahamas. Julian, as we await this, the royals descent from this plane, we'll take it back to you from now, but we'll be standing by as they descend. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Keishla. Well, Serena, I wonder how excited that young girl is who's got the outstanding privilege of presenting. I wonder how nervous she is.
There's always a little girl with flowers, isn't there? And it makes you wonder, how do you get to be that little girl? How do they pick her, do you think?
Exactly. I don't know, but I'm sure she must be quite excited.
I know, she must love it.
Something to brag about to people at school. Well, we have to take a quick break. We're giving you live coverage of the royal visit of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. Stay with us.
The royal visit, William and Kate, is brought to you by the Bahama Out Island Promotion Board. To fly free to the family islands. Visit bahamasresidence.com for details. The royal visit, William and Kate, is brought to you by J.S. Johnson. Peace of mind.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet
with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them...
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
RBC has been growing with the Bahamas for over 110 years. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future. With investments in youth, education, and environmental initiatives, we're dedicated to helping you and our communities grow.
We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC.
RBC Royal Bank.
At Bank of the Bahamas, we give you lots of reasons to love your life. We offer the lowest rates in the country on debt consolidation and consumer loans. And we help you save with our low-rate switch mortgages. Need a new car? Simply apply for a BOB auto loan and hit the road. And shopping is so easy with BOB credit and prepaid cards. It's time to live and laugh again. Love the life you live with BOB, your bank of solutions.
The islands of the Bahamas. Fly away.
Well, if you look at your screens right now, there's William and Kate.
They done reach.
Yes, and she, that's funny. And she's wearing, I guess, as close to aquamarine as she can. They've been doing that quite a bit. In each country, they've been trying to wear the colors of the country's flags, and that's as close to aquamarine, I believe, that you can get. She's now, I guess, being presented the bouquet from that young student who's dressed in very pretty pink, if you will.
Gorgeous, just looks lovely.
Yes, and that must be one of her aides, probably a lady in waiting who's coming down after her. While we're watching, I'll give you a little tidbit. My sister is British born, but she also went to school in Derbyshire, Darley Dale. And one of the things they had to do at St. Elfrin's School whenever the Royals passed was line up outside, you know? So it was always a time whenever the Royals passed, they had to be outside of the school lined up.
With a little flag or something.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. Now here they are. There is Kate, and she is a real fan of the photographers, really, isn't she?
Well, she's a fashionista, of course, so she's always a delightful picture. Mm-hmm. Photographers would indeed love her.
And how would you describe her style? It's elegant, of course.
It's elegant, it's modern. I like the fact that she likes colours. You know, a lot of people go with the beige and the white, but she's not afraid of colours. So that's nice. And I like the fact that she wears a little hat occasionally.
Yes, yes, yes.
And her hems are, you know, her hem isn't just one length. I mean, at the cathedral last week, or for Commonwealth Day, she had on this wonderful blue coat dress, which was, you know, ankle length. And she looked marvelous, and they called that, the press said that was, the color was Ukrainian blue to support the people in Ukraine.
Absolutely. Yeah, it must be, I mean, of course, she's been in the royal family for quite some time now, but
yes,
it must be very difficult to actually carve out your own niche in this family that's been around for centuries.
Yes, because I'm sure there's a protocol book and a handbook on what not to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think she's done very well, especially, of course, with Diana doing so well in that regard. I mean, Diana was a fashionista, a fashion plate, and a beautiful woman, and there was never a bad picture of her. She always just looked absolutely gorgeous. So a tough role to follow, you know. That was William's mum.
And Prince William, they're being escorted by the Governor General as he goes down the receiving line. They're actually inspecting the armed forces right now and having casual talk, it appears.
Yes, it's nice when they do that. Just have a little chat with each person where they can.
Yes. And these appear to be Rangers as well.
Yes.
In the lineup there. And, of course, the Armed Services.
Yes.
Part of, we know the Royal Bahamas Defense Force for a reason. And the Royal Bahamas Police Force for a reason.
Yes, of course.
And I believe that's Lady Clara Smith with the Duchess of Cambridge.
Okay. I don't think they have ladies in waiting anymore. I think they're just called aides.
Aides.
Yes.
A little old-fashioned on my part there, huh?
Ladies in waiting. I mean, what are they waiting for?
Good. Now he's about to receive the Guard of Honor, huh? The salute. And if we're getting a little bit of the actual sound from LPIA there, I believe, you can hear exactly what's going on in the background.
Yes. Lovely.
Which is under my command. They're made up of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Royal Bahamas Reserve Force. Also, the command the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Royal Bahamas Reserve Force, directed by Superintendent Selden Adley, Royal Bahamas Police Force, Chief Petty Officer Arsenal Rowe. The parade stands in open order and it waits your inspection. I have your permission. Number 1 platoon, stand fast. While the remainder stand at ease. Number, stand fast. Repeat, stand down.
Royals now pulling away from the tarmac here at the Lyndon Pindling International Airport. Just minutes after arriving in the Bahamas, to fanfare, to an inspection of the guard. Certainly a royal reception for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge here in the city of Nassau today. As they head out of the Lyndon Pindling International Airport, they are headed this afternoon to the office of the Prime Minister, where they will greet the Prime Minister of the Bahamas, the Honorable Philip Davis, for the first time as they embark on their first official visit to the Bahamas. A very brief, precise ceremony taking place here this afternoon. We saw a very sweet moment for little Anai Moss. And I am with little Anai right now. Hello. Hi. Now, I saw that she actually bent down and started with you for a little while. Do you remember what she said?
That my dress is beautiful and thank you for it.
Right, what an honor for you and I and Mom, Miss Kendanique. I don't want to out.
Listen, all I could do was just hold it in. I was so very proud of Anai. She's such an introvert, and when she said, "Yes, Mommy, I'm gonna go," I was so very proud of her. She is nothing like her mother. Oh, she's very docile, very humble, you know. So it was an honor to see her do it. She just came outside of herself.
And I don't think she was in the shot when you started talking. Here is little Anai, and this is something. Are you going to forget this?
No.
I don't think you'll forget this one.
No, I won't.
So what will you tell your friends when you go back to school?
Yeah, you guys can't bully me anymore. You guys can tell me what to do.
Thank you so much.
So we are in the final minutes of this portion of the ceremony. We can hear and perhaps see in the background now the band and the honor guard moving out. Of course, this is day one of what will be a 3-day visit for the Royals. Tomorrow there will be a special ceremony in the Garden of Remembrance. There will also be a special assembly for the children of the Bahamas at the Civil Strawn Primary School. And there will be visits to the island of Abaco and Grand Bahama. And of course, ZNS News and the ZNS Network will be happy to have you along as we cover all of it for you live. Back to the studio, Julian.
Yes, Kishla, wow. Well, Serena, it must have been an awesome experience for that young girl there, who I'm sure she will remember that for many years to come.
Yes, I'm sure she will. Apparently, she did a very good job.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's very interesting because I wonder what questions Prince William was asking members of the armed forces. He seemed to have very serious and sincere questions to ask them, very real questions. I don't know what he said, but it would be very interesting. I'm wondering if he was saying, what's life like being in law enforcement in the Bahamas?
Something like that, or how long was your training?
Absolutely. Were you trained in the UK?
Yes,
which of course, in many cases happens with our defense and police officers. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm sure he has set questions, but it's nice that he stops and talks to them.
Absolutely. And of course, they're on their way to the office of the Prime Minister now, where they will have a meeting and courtesy call with the Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis. We saw them pull off in those Build Your Dreams electric cars. Good. Well, you know, before we go back to the live coverage on the road, which the next step will be the Office of the Prime Minister, we saw Her Excellency Sarah Dixon, the British High Commissioner, who is the UK government's representative here. Well, we spoke with her earlier, and she says she's looking forward to the Royals' visit, adding that it marks a period of bonding and celebration for Bahamians and local Brits alike. Here's what she had to say.
I think it's really important to recognise that 70 years in public service is a really long time. And obviously she's been Queen for all of that period, and she's both of our heads of state. Both the Bahamas and the UK share her as head of state. And I think lots of people appreciate how much she's given in terms of the charity work that she does and how she represents both our countries. The Duke has always really taken a keen interest in healthcare workers, particularly mental health. You know, he's talked publicly about his own challenges when his mother passed away. And the Duchess, as a mother with young children, really likes to involve herself with schools and hear how young people are doing. So I know that that part really motivates them and they're really interested in it. I love the fact that the 15 realms, which include the Bahamas, the UK, Jamaica, Canada, Australia, and Antigua and Barbuda and so on, I really like the fact that we share a head of state and we can all get excited about the royal family coming. Lots of British people who are resident here in the Bahamas have said to me how exciting it is to have the Duke and Duchess coming here for the Jubilee.
Sarah Dixon, there, the British High Commissioner. Now, of course, as privileged as William's upbringing was, he indeed had a lot of tragedy, losing his mother at such a tender age. And a lot of our social media participants are saying, you know, it's amazing to see how he's become a man of his own after, you know, that image of him and Harry, you know, following their mother's casket. Back when she died in 96, I think that was, 97 rather. I remember when she died. I was in Haiti at the time, serving in Haiti, and just completely shocked. Yes. How do you think an experience like that has made him a stronger person and more equipped for when he eventually becomes the monarch?
I think that she was a great role model, and she was always very involved with her children. She used to take them to the hospitals, to schools. She really taught them the way to be charitable, to be helpful. She was a philanthropist, and she was very sincere in all the charitable work she did. So those boys grew up that way, and especially the eldest son, of course.
That's true. It's amazing because she actually touched people with AIDS.
Yes.
Not just HIV, with full-blown AIDS.
Yes.
When nobody else wanted to touch them.
Yes, these children, and then she walked
went into landmines.
I know.
She really was a phenomenal person.
She was a phenomenal person, and I think her eldest son especially has mimicked that, and it must have been a tragic loss. And as you say, who can forget that sight of the two boys walking behind her coffin? So I think she was a good role model, and he wants to do his best for her. And of course, he's his grandmother.
Absolutely.
I mean, how could he not be who he is today?
And it appears that he has a really good balance of what Diana was and what Charles is.
Yes, I think that's very well put. And he's found himself. He's his own man. There's no doubt about it.
And a father of, what, 3 now?
3 children, yes. I think they're a delightful couple, and I certainly hope they have a great trip.
Absolutely. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. And this is just the beginning of their trip here to the Bahamas. A wonderful arrival and met by our armed forces. A salute from them, and inspecting the guard, having casual conversations with quite a few of the armed forces, male and female. And now they're on their way to the Prime Minister's office, and we will be going there live at some point. We have our Shoshana Rolf Farquharson, who will be giving us a briefing as to what's happening there. But that's in just a few minutes. And of course, you know, we're sure you've seen the recent improvements around the Capitol. And it's all part of the freshening up of New Providence in anticipation of Kate and William's arrival. And Antoinette Smith gives us some details about that. Here's her report.
No stone left unturned.
And we've been working all over the weekends just to make sure that we get it on time.
With 3 days to go till the much talked about royal visit, Ministry of Works crews are putting on the finishing touches, working overtime to ensure not one thing is out of place.
We are on our last leg, and we had quite a different areas that we have to work on, and this is one of them. This is where the ceremony is going to be.
Crews for the past 3 days placing extra emphasis on the cenotaph. It's the site where the Duke and Duchess will meet frontline workers. To prepare, teams have paved, painted, and renovated surrounding areas, but their scope of works don't just stop there. Their tasks ranging from banners hung at roundabouts in the west to works done at Montague in the east.
And then we are not completed all this yet because now we were told over the weekend that we're going to have tents out there with foods and stuff. So now we have to run water lines and electricity on Montague Beach, where the Duke and Duchess will be sitting.
The question on everyone's minds, though, just how will they get it all done?
Montague is 95% completed. The cenotaph right now, because of the request that we had over the weekend, we're back to about 90% completed, right? And hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday, we are out of here.
Well, according to Ministry of Works officials, teams are also in the process of wrapping up works on the island of Abaco and Grand Bahama.
And of course, we will be taking you to the cenotaph tomorrow on day 2 of the Royals visit here. But we're going to take a break right now, and we'll be back with more after this.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them.
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
RBC has been growing with the Bahamas for over 110 years. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future. With investments in youth, education, and environmental initiatives, we're dedicated to helping you and our communities grow.
We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC.
RBC Royal Bank.
Of the Bahamas. Fly away.
Welcome back. We're bringing you live coverage of the royal visit. William and Kate are in the Bahamas and on their way to the office of the Prime Minister. Now, of course, this is the third sort of leg of their Caribbean tour in honor of the Queen, who celebrates her Platinum Jubilee, 70 years on the throne, which is amazing, longer than any other monarch, Serena Williams.
She's done extremely well.
That says a lot about her and her fortitude, doesn't it?
And, you know, she had I mean, she could have easily said, you know what, I think I'll retire and let Charles take over. But she decided not to. I mean, she wanted to go for as long as she could.
She sees it as her duty and she takes it extremely seriously.
As she said when at the coronation, when she became the Queen, and she said, I will be serving the people. This is a life of service, and nothing's changed. And she's always done that.
Good. Now, in the report that we had just before the break, we saw where they were doing work at the cenotaph. And of course, tomorrow, the royals will visit the cenotaph and will be honoring some healthcare workers who particularly were, you know, slugging it out during the
I think that's a lovely
pandemic.
touch. This is a great occasion to pay homage.
And I can tell you two of those names at least. Dr. Nakia Forbes, who does fantastic work. I'm fortunate enough to work with her on the HIV/AIDS resource committee. She's a wonderful person to have, a real asset. And then Sister Valencia Roll, a nursing officer, are two of the people who will be actually honored and, you know, speaking with the royals tomorrow.
Terrific.
Particular attention will be paid to them. And
that's a nice idea.
Tributes given to them for their performance.
Yes, lovely. Very nice.
Okay. Now we understand that the royals are very near the OPM, the Office of the Prime Minister.
They're
not
pulling
quite
up,
yet.
are they?
Not quite yet, but they're almost there.
And what will happen, Julian, when they get there?
Well, we really don't know exactly. We know that they will be speaking with the Prime Minister, but of course, courtesy calls like that are usually very private and closed.
I wonder if they'll have a little note from the Queen.
Okay, I understand that we are now ready to go to the office of the Prime Minister, where Shoshana Roll-Farquharson is standing by. Shoshana, good afternoon.
What is expected to really take place is once the Duke and Duchess arrive, they will be escorted to the doorsteps and welcomed by a receiving line that will be led by the Prime Minister. Keep going. Which will be led by the Prime Minister, Philip Davis, and they already.
Well, not quite ready there at the office of the Prime Minister, but everyone's waiting for their arrival.
Yes, indeed, with bated breath, great excitement, I should think.
Now, we must remember that the Prime Minister actually met and had some talks with Prince William, the Prime Minister and Prince William, in Glasgow last year at COP26. And from what I understand, the Prince commended him on his address to that body, to the world.
Well, who didn't? It was a marvelous address. It was astoundingly good. It was terrific. Went around the world.
It really was. I was excited and impressed with that as well.
Yes.
Okay, we're now going to go back to the office of the Prime Minister, where Shoshana Roll-Farquharson is standing by. Good afternoon, Shoshana.
And this is it here, Julian. Just a few seconds ago, what we would have witnessed was the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge now here at the office of the Prime Minister. And just behind me, you would see that they are met by a receiving line led by the Prime Minister, Philip Davis. And once they get on the inside, what is expected to take place, firstly, is that they are expected to take the official photos here for the courtesy call. And then followed by that, there will be a meeting for about 20 to 30 minutes. As you can see, they are still here slowly going inside, meeting officials and a delegation, once again led by the Prime Minister. Now, this area is tightly secured from every corner. Right behind us is the Bahamar Golf Course, and you have a small number of spectators there as well, trying to take in the sights of the royals. But in just a few minutes, we know that they will go inside. They will have a very private meeting with the Prime Minister where the media is not allowed. Now, that closed meeting is scheduled to discuss a number of matters of mutual interest. Those matters, they will include matters like climate change, possible trade between the Bahamas and the UK, the pandemic recovery, and discussions on strengthening ties between the UK and the Bahamas. And some may ask exactly why are these matters important? Well, we know that climate change is high on the agenda for both this government and the Duke and Duchess. Both them and the Prime Minister addressed the COP26 climate change conference in Glasgow last year, highlighting the urgent need for action action when it comes to tackling climate change. And again, an area of interest for the Duke and Duchess, that would be the pandemic recovery and response, as their Royal Highnesses are also keen to understand more about the impact that the pandemic has had and continues to have on communities and how these communities are now pulling forward. And then we understand that there may be some discussions on strengthening the ties between the UK and the Bahamas, and then our upcoming 50th anniversary of independence celebrations. In addition to that, possible scholarships for students to further their education within the United Kingdom. Trading is also one of the areas of focus that is expected to be discussed within this private 20 to 30-minute meeting with the Prime Minister. Now, the hope is really that this visit would also display the Bahamas and show that the Bahamas is open for business despite Hurricane Dorian and despite a global pandemic. And over the next 3 days, what we expect is that the Bahamas will show off like we usually do. We will show off when it comes to culture, we will show off when it comes to pride, and we will show off when it comes to our hospitality. And all of that begins right here. We would have seen the fanfare just a few minutes ago at the international airport, and then a short trek here to the office of the Prime Minister, once again, where they are inside and they are expected to take a few official photos. From what we understand, the Bahamas will also present them with a few gifts. Exactly what those gifts are, we are not quite sure at this point, but I'm sure we will find out a little bit later. And then they go into that closed meeting. And so their first official visit begins here at the office of the Prime Minister. Just about 30 minutes they will be here, and then they retire for the evening. And then we know the next 2 and 3 days it will be filled with activities. They will also travel over to Abaco and to Grand Bahama. Julian?
Thank you, Shashina. Well, they're speaking with the Prime Minister. Now, we were told that it may be 20 to 30 minutes, but it is always very interesting to see if that time is extended. That means that they're actually having some very deep conversations, which is very possible. Now, we know that Prince William in Jamaica spoke to slavery, and exactly his words were that during a speech at dinner, he expressed profound sorrow over slavery, and he said that slavery was abhorrent and should never have happened and forever stains our history. And I think that's the first time that we've heard someone at that level speak about slavery, period. There are other issues that come up. Of course, for some people, that is falling short of giving an apology, which many people would like to hear. And also the issue of reparations. But of course, this is a very short period of time that they're here for, and it's not a negotiating forum, if you will. But I'm looking forward to hearing what he might say during his time with our Prime Minister.
Yes, it is a familiarization trip for them. It's not a business call. I think, as you said previously when we were talking, if it was the Prime Minister that came over from England, then I think those kind of talks would ensue. But I just hope that they had the kettle on when they got into the Prime Minister's office. A cup of tea will be needed.
A good cuppa, huh?
Yes, a cup of tea and a biscuit, definitely.
And actually, it is about that time,
It is tea time.
Let's talk about British and royal customs and traditions.
Yes.
How have you, because the Bahamas is different.
Yes.
Right? And how have you been able to balance them? What would have been the pluses of being British and Bahamian?
Well, I must say...
I must say that you do not have Bahamian nationality, citizenship.
No, I know. I've got permanent residency, but I've hung on to my British passport. But to be honest, I think I might have been sort of more in favour of the Bahamian style. I mean, I like my stewed fish. I love boiled fish. So there's not much British habit-wise. There's not a lot left in me. I think I've become Bahamian.
Oh, how often do you get back to the UK? I know the pandemic has been a bit of a barrier to that.
I haven't been for 5 years. I went to Paris 4 years ago for somebody's birthday. That was nice. But England, I haven't been back for 5 years, so I guess a visit is due.
Now, I know this is about the Platinum Jubilee, but there are many who believe that now the UK and the royals are setting the pace for that to actually strengthen ties with Commonwealth countries.
Yes.
Because, one, they've moved out of the European Union, and they want to renew and strengthen those ties with their fellow Commonwealth countries, like the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Particularly those that still have the monarch as their head of state. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think it's absolutely true. I mean, it's the silver lining, really, for us here in the Bahamas that they left the European Union, because now they are open to be able to do trade with the Bahamas, and there's no reason why they shouldn't. And I know they're trying to. I know they have people over here, and of course, Sarah Dickinson, she's definitely promoting business between the two countries. So we've got so much talent here. The art, I mean, just the painting alone could be easily sold in England. So
yes.
we get enough British tourists out here that these sort of situations can occur.
Yes, and as I said, they're still in that meeting with the Prime Minister. Should probably, I'm not even sure if the actual meeting has begun yet, because they are taking official photographs, and I'm sure that is a very exciting period for whomever is inside the office of the Prime Minister right now. I don't know who all is in there, but I'm sure they must be quite excited.
Well, I'm sure Clint Watson is organising, having a good time.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, we're going to soon go back to the office of the Prime Minister, where Shoshana Farquharson is standing by.
Yes.
I see some other members of the press. I guess they got their actual sort of opportunities.
I suppose.
But let's go to Shoshana right now.
Yes.
Okay,
Julie,
it appears
where do you
Shoshana's
think
not
the
quite
foreign
ready
press
for us
have
right
gone?
now. I'm not absolutely sure where the foreign press is. Of course, we will undoubtedly see many of them tomorrow night.
Yes.
For those of us who are fortunate to go to the reception, where we will be broadcasting live from. But you see members of the press there.
Yes.
They probably got their photo ops as the royals went inside the office of the Prime Minister.
Well, they'll be down at Arawak Key, I expect, in short order.
Well, I'm not sure if it's Arawak Key, but definitely they'll be at Montague tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow, yes.
After they've had their John Canoe rush-out experience and experience other cultural aspects of the Bahamas.
Yes.
Very difficult to put it all into one day, but I'm sure they will get a very good dose.
A few change of clothes, I believe.
Well, to get on the boats, yes.
Yes.
And I believe they're going to be competing as well.
Yeah, they're going to be competing against each other, yes.
So it's going to be a fun time for everyone. Yes, yes.
Well, my bet's on Kate. I think Kate will win that little sailing race.
She is quite a woman, isn't she?
She is. She's terrific. I think I really do think they're a good match.
And it's very interesting when you think of her parents, how they started. They really... Okay, well, they were British Airways employees when they first met, started their own business, and it developed into quite an industry. Let us go to Shoshana Farquharson right now at the office of the Prime Minister.
Now again, Julian, as we would have mentioned earlier, the Duke and Duchess arriving just a few minutes ago here at the office of the Prime Minister. Now, they would have been greeted, like we would have told you before, by the nation's leader. They would have gone inside, and then the first order of business is to, of course, take those official photos. Those official photos are taken by the designated media houses inside, and then following that, a very private ceremony discussing a number of matters of interest. Of course, one of the matters of interest, mutual interest between the UK, the Duke and Duchess, the Bahamas, and the Prime Minister, of course, is climate change. That discussion has been ongoing, and the Duke has promoted his platform for a very long time on climate change. And of course, the global pandemic has been a keen interest, area of interest in Jamaica, of course, in Belize, and here in the Bahamas, it will be no different. They will discuss how the pandemic, the global pandemic 2 years ago, would have affected the Bahamas, how it has affected our school children, how it has affected our economy, how it continues to affect us, and plans moving forward. Again, the 50th anniversary of independence, that is coming up next year, and discussions have already begun on who is coming, who is invited. Maybe they will be a part of the 50th anniversary of independence celebrations. We know that the Duke and Duchess, they are very big on culture, and they have a keen interest in the Bahamian culture, and so that is, again, one of the areas of topic that is expected to be discussed as they meet with the Prime Minister. Again, a lot of talk has been ongoing about the visit with the Duke and the Duchess, and what the hope really is that this visit, as it is already done, will bring a lot of attention to the Bahamas. And we've already seen where a lot of the global media houses have brought that attention. It's talking a lot about what the Bahamas has to offer, not just for the UK, but for the entire world. And so it shows now that the Bahamas, of course, we are open. We are open for business. We are open despite Hurricane Dorian that took place in 2019, the impact of climate change. We are open. Besides that, we are open despite the global pandemic. We know that this weekend as well, they will also visit Abaco. They will also visit Grand Bahama, the Grand Bahama Children's Home, where the children there are excited about what is to come tomorrow. The Sybil Strawn Primary School, we understand that the students will be fully engaged in a special program that the Ministry of Education has put on. And then Friday night, it is a ball with private attendees, and that will be for about 2 hours. And so, of course, it is a very exciting time here, Julian, not just in Nassau, the nation's capital, but as Abaco also prepares and as Grand Bahama prepares. I remember when I was about 6 or 7 years old at Hugh Campbell Primary School, when we would have had one of these very same visits from the Queen, and we had to wear our white gloves, and it was an exciting time. We do not know when we will see this time again, and so, of course, the Bahamas has done a tremendous job in putting on a number of activities to embrace this royal visit, and we understand that there will be a number of cultural shows outlined tomorrow. And so this will be the first and the only tour, part of their official tour here today at the office of the Prime Minister, and then tomorrow it kickstarts a number of activities. Back to you, Julian.
Thank you, Shoshina. Well, Serena Williams, something that Shoshina raised, which we should really focus on. There are some people here who do not appreciate what this royal visit means. However, we saw the number of press that came off the plane with them, right? So these photographs are going to go all around the world. I saw some pictures from Belize that made me want to go to Belize. So can you imagine what this would translate to into tourism dollars? As a public relations specialist, how important do you think this is?
It's very important, and it will bring great results. It's you can't have anything better when you have a royal couple coming to a destination and you're seeing them take part in all these different activities, and people go, boy, that looks great. Gosh, we could do that. We could go there and go scuba diving. Google it, find out what's the room rates. You know, it gets people moving into that kind of situation. It's fabulous. It's very good for us.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to see some of the photos that actually are sent out to the international media.
How do you think our media here will treat this?
I think they will be serious and fair about it. I think there'll be excitement.
Yes.
But of course, they've got to take in the other aspects, because there are some people who are not so excited about this visit at all.
True.
But who knows, maybe they might be after this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Maybe Kate and William will win them over.
Well, until times change, the royals are our royals.
Yes,
the Queen is our Queen.
Yes.
And that's what it is.
Exactly.
Yes, you know, just like Canada.
Yes.
So you see what's coming up ahead, right?
Yes.
As we get to the end of today's arrival activities, you see what's coming ahead for the next few days. What are your thoughts about first thing tomorrow when they go to Sybil Strawn, where they won't just meet members of Sybil Strawn School, but other Bahamian students? That's their first stop in the morning.
That's something where I'd like to be there in person, because when you have people that young who are perhaps not yet marred with the strifes of life, and I think the children are going to enjoy it greatly. So I think that might be one of their happiest trips. Who doesn't want to go to school and see kids going, hello, miss, come and see my pictures? You know, I mean, it's just a lovely situation.
Well, you know,
it's
when you
very
think
winsome.
about it, in Jamaica there were some protests as well.
Yes.
But there was an equal amount of joy and love and happiness because of their arrival, their trip.
I think it's good for all of us. We need a little bit of this.
And there's some, as we get out of the pandemic.
A bit of warm and fuzzy.
Hopefully out of the pandemic.
Yes, yes.
After the Cebu school trip, they will head downtown to the Cenotaph.
Yes.
And as we said, they will meet with several health care workers and honor them.
Well, do you think Dr. Sands will be there?
Oh, I have no idea who will be there, but I do know that Dr. Nikia Forbes and Nurse Valencia Roll will be two of the people who are honored.
Yes.
And immediately after that, in the same vicinity, right in Rawson Square, will be the Junkanoo Rush Hour.
Junkanoo Rush Hour, yes,
and I'm really interested to see if they could actually get our Junkanoo moves down pat. I noticed in Belize, William was dancing with someone from the Garifuna community and doing it quite well. She said he had rhythm. It'll be interesting to see if they could get that Bahamian rhythm.
I think they'll do it. I think they'll go for it. Do you think there'll be do you think they'll get into costume or anything like that, or they'll just?
If you look on your screens now, you can see the timetable for tomorrow.
There it is. That's
at
good.
1 o'clock, the Queen's Jubilee Regatta.
Right.
Which is where they will go after Rawson Square.
Okay.
And that's the, also I think it's going to be a very exciting thing. We'll have more details of their actual events and activities during that day in the 6:30 p.m. news from Grand Bahama, and then of course in the 7 p.m. news, the Bahamas Tonight.
Yes.
Yes. So of course we're leaving out one important thing tomorrow as well.
What's that?
And that is the black tie reception.
Oh, for goodness sake, yes, that'll be nice.
Now, it reminds me of my time when I was a diplomat in the UK, and you got to go to Buckingham Palace. So, of course, the dress was white tie, right? And, of course, when you went to Ascot, you wore your
top hat.
Your top hat and your tails.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really
well,
exciting
you really
time.
lived the life, Julian. How many years were you in the Foreign Service?
Oh, about 10 or so.
Really?
Yeah, quite a bit.
And where did you go?
Well, I was based in London for most of it, and then Haiti after that. And then I came back to the Foreign Service until I resigned.
Well, for goodness sake, you're British.
Well, I tell you what, let's take a little bit of a break right now before we come to the end of our broadcast.
All righty.
So
Discover the possibilities.
Discover the possibilities.
Discover the possibilities.
I discovered the possibilities.
I discovered the possibilities.
At Bank of the Bahamas, we give you lots of reasons to love your life. We offer the lowest rates in the country on debt consolidation and consumer loans. And we help you save with our low-rate switch mortgages. Need a new car? Simply apply for a BOB auto loan and hit the road. And shopping is so easy with BOB credit and prepaid cards. It's time to live and laugh again. Love the life you live with BOB, your bank of solutions.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
What? Check old girl, boy. Say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them.
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you you have BTC Home Internet to unite with our mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
RBC has been growing with the Bahamas for over 110 years. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future. With investments in youth, education, and environmental initiatives, we're dedicated to helping you and our communities grow.
We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC.
RBC Royal Bank.
Of the Bahamas. Fly away.
Discover the possibilities.
Discover the possibilities.
Discover the possibilities.
I discovered the possibilities.
I discovered the possibility.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, William and Kate are here in the Bahamas. They are speaking with our Prime Minister at this time before they finish their talks and head to their dwelling for their time here. But what are your thoughts about what have happened so far, Serena?
Well, I think everything's gone according to plan. So I think it's working very nicely.
Right. You know, we were told that they might have been a little bit late, but they actually were just a little bit early when they arrived.
Yes, they made up the time, but that was quite an impressive airplane they arrived on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I hear it's very nice inside.
I've seen some photos, yes, yes.
Very comfortable flight.
Mm-hmm. So, can you imagine, because we hear a lot about royal correspondence.
Yes.
Right? And can you give us any idea what their life is like and the work that they do? How they get selected to actually cover the royal family exclusively?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose they go through an interview process as everybody else does.
You know what I find very funny, because someone I knew when I was in London.
Yes.
And used to celebrate with.
Yeah.
He actually is a royal correspondent.
And what does that mean for him?
Well, you can see him a lot right now. His name is Wesley Kerr, and actually, right now, he they're doing the Palaces on PBS.
Okay. Oh,
right?
wonderful.
And he's one of the correspondents who commentates on that, gives commentary on that.
That's a nice program. So that's a bit of a diversion for him, really, because usually they're just writing about palace matters, about the king and queen, and they are to be on call for the rest of the media as spokespeople or to find out what's happening and to write newsletters. So they're busy all the time, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Well, as we said, this whole tour began in Belize.
Yes.
And we have some footage of the royals in Belize.
Duchess making their way to the entrance of the plane while they are walking down the steps and making their way to be received by the...
course.
That was the national...
Specific with how many of you can be at any particular event, right?
Yeah, of course. I think that's, normally logistics-wise that they just try and keep it...
Okay, well, we're seeing, we were talking about William and Kate dancing, and here they are now dancing with, I understand, members of the Garifuna community in Belize. They also went to some of the ruins of the original indigenous people of Belize. Okay, right there you see them having a sort of an exhibition, a demonstration of how cocoa is made. Chocolate is made from cocoa.
Interesting.
And they actually had a drink of cocoa. Actually, see, they put Prince William to work.
Yes. He looks like he's doing a good job of it.
And I don't know if we have the audio to it, but when they both tasted the final product,
yes,
they said, oh, I'm sure our kids are actually quite envious of this right now.
See, that's an interesting thought. Do you think their children will one day fill a role like this?
Well, we'll have to see. It'll be very interesting. I'm sure now we've got some footage of them arriving in Jamaica. And again, as you said, you saw how Kate has been wearing colors that represent the flags of each of the country. There's the Jamaican Defense Force and Constabulary right there.
That's a colorful uniform.
It sure is, yes.
So they had to go through that same type of... So look at that lovely yellow dress she's wearing. That's gorgeous.
That's right, representing the yellow in the flag of Jamaica.
Right, indeed.
And of course she arrived here in an aquamarine dress.
Lovely aquamarine dress. I liked that. It looked very comfortable too.
They're meeting with the Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
Yes.
Now it's very interesting, and I'm trying to wonder now, because we've noticed that Prince William's hairline has receded significantly.
I would say so. It has.
I'm wondering I think he's he's receded a little bit more than his father.
It looks like it's quite surprising when you think how thick Diane's hair, his mother's hair, Princess Diana, had very thick hair.
And Harry still does, it appears.
And Harry still does. Harry has very thick hair, but I guess it's just one of those things, the luck of the draw.
Sorry?
Fortunately, bald heads are in, as you know.
Well, thank God it worked for me, because
works for you.
I've been like this since 1987.
Have you?
I've not been to a barber since.
And did you sort of start receding and just then think,
yeah, I just said forget it.
Just forget it, shave it. Yeah.
Good. And we're seeing more footage of him here.
Yes.
With the Jamaican bobsleigh team.
Oh, look at that! Yes.
So they had a unique opportunity there.
Oh my goodness! They're actually are they going to go on a run or just testing?
They really do seem to have a lot of fun together, don't they?
They do, yes.
Like they are in love.
Yes.
And of course, one of his favorite pastimes, playing football, yes. And he was with a pro baller who plays in the UK, but who is from Jamaica originally.
Well, that looks fun.
Yes.
I wonder if he'll score a goal. Or did they set him up?
I'm sure they did.
Yes, get a goal.
I'm sure they did. They have to let him at least score a goal here. Now, will we let him win?
That's another matter.
On the high seas here.
Oh, on the high seas, yes, when we do the regatta. Kate's going to win that boat race. Well, they looked like they had a really good time.
They did, and people very happy to see them.
Yes.
And it'll be interesting to see the warmth that Bahamians give them when they actually come in contact. I think that it'll be quite outstanding tomorrow.
I think so too. I think they've got a lot to look forward to. I'm glad they've had a good trip. I'm glad it's turning out well for them.
So, can you imagine them actually whistling and playing cowbells tomorrow and beating drums, John Canoe? Wonder if they get to heat the drum to perfection.
Oh, yes, I wonder.
You get a real experience about what John Canoe is like, even though it's not going to be a very long period of time.
No.
but enough to actually get a good taste of it.
Enough to get a taste of it, yes. And maybe they'll come back one Christmas and see the real.
Also wonder what kinds of Bahamian foods that they might experience. I guess by now, after Belize and Jamaica, spicy food should be quite easy for them.
Yes, it should be. They should have developed a taste for it by now. Certainly, I'm sure they're going to have the conch salad and minced lobster or something like that.
Yes, yes.
Guava duff.
Sounds like you're talking about your favorites.
I like the new duff. I love the new things. It's very good.
Yeah, but this is a wonderful experience. Like you said, coming out of the pandemic, nice to see young people in leadership. And of course, that's something that young Bahamians have expressed a need to do, to be allowed to show that they can be leaders too.
Yes.
They've got a prime example here from the Royals.
A very nice couple, two good role models. He lets her be who she wants to be. She's forming her own personal brand, and I think it's good.
Well, I understand that the Royals are coming out of the office of the Prime Minister right now, so we're going to go to them right now as they exit. And on your screens, you can see we're there at the office of the Prime Minister.
Now we are expecting that the Duke and the Duchess are exiting the office of the Prime Minister here. We already see where the police motorcyclists, they are in position. A lot of them already heading to the entrance to escort the delegation outside of the office of the Prime Minister. This meeting, as we would have said earlier, probably taking about 25 to 30 minutes. The area, of course, continues to be heavily guarded by the Royal Bahamas Police Force and the Defense Force. And there you have it, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Prince William, and his beautiful wife, always beautifully dressed, Kate, and they are about to exit the office of the Prime Minister. Of course, leaving the airport, this would have been their first stop, and we understand that this is the only stop for today. And right now, here at the office of the Prime Minister, we are starting to feel where the rain is starting to come down. A beautiful day, nonetheless, with a lot of fanfare at the international airport. Again, as you can see, this first vehicle would have the Royals, and they are being escorted out by the police force. And we just got a little wink from the inside. Very exciting day, as a lot of members of the press internationally are also here to commemorate this significant occasion. As we would have said before, that this is the first and perhaps the only stop that is part of the official tour today. But tomorrow there is a full slate of activities, followed by the activities on Saturday as well. If you can see, we are now being blessed with some showers, and that is it. They would now be making a right turn outside of the office of the Prime Minister. And so that would wrap up the activities here today. Back to you, Julian.
Thank you, Shashina. And they're heading home for the night.
Yes.
I hope they get a very good night's rest after a wonderful dinner.
Yes.
Because they have a very heavy schedule tomorrow. And let's remind you a little bit of that schedule, actually. First of all, our broadcast here will begin at 7 a.m. with the morning edition. And that will come from downtown Nassau at 7 a.m. Our broadcast of the coverage of the royal visit will begin in earnest at 9 a.m. as they get ready to go to Sybil Strawn Primary School. We'll be here giving it to you bit by bit as it happens. Now, but let me ask you this now, Serena Williams. As a public relations specialist, what would the headline for tomorrow's papers be if it were you?
A royal success.
I like that one, a royal success. Simple and to the point.
Yes.
And we must remind you all that, of course, tomorrow, particularly in the downtown area, there's going to be a lot of road closures, and just remember that it's not going to be an ordinary day tomorrow as you move about downtown New Providence. So keep that in mind. Well, as we get ready to close this broadcast, anything else you want to raise that struck you in particular?
I think that certainly the organization of everything has been very nice, and the fact that this is their last stop on a 12-day trip. I still think they're looking fresh and warm and friendly. They don't appear to be tired or fed up with the whole thing, and it's nice to see that enthusiasm. And I'm glad they're here in the Bahamas. They've left the best till last, and I hope we look after them well. And I hope the Queen sent a little note for the Prime Minister when they had their meeting.
Yes, that's wonderful, wonderful. I'll tell you that it's been an interesting broadcast so far.
Yes, I've enjoyed it, Julian.
Yes, it's good to have you here.
You're good company.
And thank you. And so are you. And tomorrow we get ready to give you a full day of broadcasting. Just to remind you that it will start at 7 a.m. with the morning edition, and then at 9 a.m. we come to you live with the official Royal Visit broadcast. You join us then, and until then, I'm Julian Reed. We thank you for joining us, and we have a little montage for you to take a look at as we say goodnight.